Want to sell it.
What was said and what was here is two different
He's
things.
gonna build a house.
So when we get these applications, we
Webs are
need to
gone.
stop, continue it, and go.
Did I answer your
Yes, that-
question?
it's been- yeah,
So-
I-
so
we don't
what-
go over anything, and so you don't understand.
So what is mistaken
So
about,
if you don't understand it, to continue.
okay, but, so what was mistaken about what we
That's
did?
really it.
What was
That's
it?
really it.
We said, what did we screw up
We
on?
recommended a lot.
We said
We
32
recommend
feet.
that
Eric
they
says
build on
when
it,
you
they
do
go
the
on.
deed.
Yeah, we recommended that they build on it, they have no access to.
So,
They have
The
no
the
frontage.
32-foot
Mine,
driveway
from
would
what I
work
got
for?
from Stephen
No,
was
it
it
work.
was in the
Fine,
cell.
but it's not a road. They don't have
And then
that.
they
But we
were
knew it wasn't a road the other night.
Well,
Yeah,
the
that's why it
basis-
was wrong to recommend.
the basis that we used was that it was a lot since before zoning was required, and therefore it was legal. But then we find out that there's been all of this horse trading going on. Lots split off here, there, everywhere, boundaries changed. And all of a sudden that designation doesn't fit it.
So what option is open today to them to get it accomplished?
Well, I don't think the planning commission has anything to say what they have to accomplish. What the thing is, this has been a field, that's been its use since 1944 apparently. They can continue that. What they're asking you to do is to change that use to a home lot.
Okay, and my question is, what would they have to do to get that?
They need 100-foot of frontage on a road built to the town of Daniel standards.
So they're gonna have to come up with, and that's our recommendation.
But
Our
with that-
recommendation
And
is
even if you
not
said it's a lot of
application.
record, they show up for a building permit, guess
Not
what?
getting it.
I can't issue it, because you still have to have it on the road built 100
So our
foot.
recommendation to the town.
So if they had that document that this is a lot of record, I still can't issue a permit. You can't issue a permit on that property.
The planning and zoning last 3 weeks ago said we recommend to the town that they approve this.
We did. That was your recommendation.
Now,
Wasn't there.
now we're gonna recommend to the town that until the surveys are complete and the descriptions are in order,
We continue.
we'll continue.
Make that
Or-
motion, Kim.
Or
Make that motion.
we're gonna suggest that they obtain the 100-foot frontage.
Which they really only need 50, right, if they build a road to the town.
If they build the road, yeah, there's 50, there's the confusion of frontage. You still need the 100 foot. You can build a 50-foot road into your property 100 foot,
Right,
and then you have your 100 foot.
exactly.
So they would have to build it.
So they would
The right of
need,
way
they would
and
need
another-
50 feet wide
To build a
by
road.
100 feet.
100 feet into their property.
100 feet into it. And this does not give them that, it's
They don't
no,
have
It's
50
32
feet.
feet.
It's
No, they
30
only have
something.
30,
okay.
18.
Okay,
But
so
that
I,
problem is the 32-foot access.
That is
issue, too.
debatable too.
Or the 16 or the
so I
whatever it
make a
is.
motion that we continue this question for research.
Okay. Have a motion, is there a second?
I want to hear the motion again.
I move that we continue this question for research.
Okay.
Is there a
And what's the
motion?
research going to accomplish? What research are we
Hold on, we
looking
gotta get a second, maybe that motion won't go. Looking for a second on the motion? No second? Okay, motion dies for lack of a second.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay,
A motion that we continue this until we have the surveys provided by TKO.
TO?
TO.
extra K in there.
Okay.
Excuse
We
me?
like the K.
How is it?
T.O.
TO,
TO?
yeah,
To you.
TO, Toothman and some other guy.
He's put in some other guy.
TKO, I think. is
O is for
their-
other.
O is for other guy.
Yeah.
Okay, have a motion to
Okay, so we
continue?
have the surveys from who?
Well, if this motion goes through, his motion is to have T.O. look at the surveys. And put them in layman terms.
To look at the survey, so we're not doing surveying, we're just
No,
looking at the survey.
you're looking
that's
at
right
these warranty deeds and making sense of them
Okay.
for us.
That's correct.
Your guy in
I need
office
to
can
correct
do
that motion.
Okay.
On the chance this passes, I just want to make sure I know what I,
Okay.
what
Let me
I
correct that
motion to agree.
Okay,
That we look at warranty deed descriptions and try to make sense of them.
okay.
Make it warranty deeds to make sense of them.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a motion, is there a second? Seeing none, motion dies for lack of a second.
Could we add to that motion and I guess the warranty deed, I guess, let me help understand this. If the warranty deeds and everything, all that were to come together and the measurements matched to everybody's agreements, would it be good to have it surveyed and laid out
So
on
you'd
the
like
land?
No, we're not gonna go that expensive
So-
We
survey.
wouldn't
somebody's
do that, but
land.
we could at least lay it out on a Google map and.
Well, I'm
Something
assuming
like
that
that.
we'll get a rough draft of what this is, because we have three, as I look at that, there's three different parcels, and I can't make heads or tails of them.
Well,
So
I think where we're at is that, I mean, I'm convinced that there's too much horse trading afterwards and it's not. You know, they've given us the proof that it has serious problems. And if they're not gonna be able to build anyway, unless there's 50 feet of frontage, I think that we recommend to the council that the application be denied unless they can come up with the 50 feet of frontage.
I think
50
it,
feet of
I-
road.
Road.
I think at this point, we'll do exactly the same as we did, we'll just deny the application. And then let them take it to the council if they so choose.
I think that's a good idea.
That's
Why
what the
waste the
billboard-
expense of,
Right.
even though maybe Ryan will get a better Christmas, but I'm sorry, we'll be screwed.
Well,
I'm good either way.
I asked Eric why we were paying for that,
Because I'm not smart enough to figure that out.
nor am I.
Well,
But this is.
But is that our responsibility?
I think we have a responsibility to be able to
Understand,
understand
yeah.
that.
Well, I think that the cost, to be
This is
fair,
their evidence.
the cost to take their evidence and put together a 5-minute presentation that says this is what we're really looking at is not that much. To go out there and survey for them, that's a whole nother.
But I think it's a waste of time because it's missing, you've got the first page and the last page and you have nothing in between. And the first and the last page don't match. And so given what we have, I don't think we're gonna come up with anything better.
Well, and I think I would agree that none of what I've seen shows that we have enough room to put a road in. So, well, we may not understand if it's 32 or 16 or 8 or 42.
It's not enough.
It's not enough regardless, and so I'll do the research and I'll come present that it's not all of these numbers, it's this number, but that number's not likely to be bigger than the ones they presented.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I'm fundamentally gonna give you new information that you say, aha, now I know what to do.
Yes, but the
So
motion
Gary
was
probably ought to
is to
conflict.
deny that application, is send it to town council. Wasn't that the motion?
Just to deny it, they can go to the town council if they want to.
Make the motion.
Well, I don't think we're to that point. We put them on the agenda to move this forward. They will be here at our next planning meeting.
Okay, so we did continue.
Yeah, well, we just got this kicked back to us today. I
Okay.
put it on the agenda so you guys would be able to move forward with it. And then we'll have it in January at our planning commission meeting.
So can we have,
Okay.
can we have clarification before the January meeting then? Or do you feel like we don't need clarification because
Well,
it is
I
what
don't
it
know
is?
if you have any more information than what we have here.
It's on their plate to give us
No, but
information,
I-
right?
So are they gonna come with more smoke
So
and
I'm saying-
mirrors, or is it gonna be?
I think what I've mapped here is correct within 50 feet
Right.
of what that original deed says and what Webb's bought and are trying to sell. But we have no information about how it transformed from this shape to this shape. And without that information, I don't think we can figure out anything else.
So there again, it's not legally subdivided.
And it absolutely may come down to that. There's not enough information to approve this application. Therefore, it's denied. It may come down to that.
Yeah. But I'm just saying I mean, if you want to have them draft it
Well,
out, great. but-
you guys are the commission. I'm just the planner. I
Well, if you were Travis, you could just look at things and you'd know.
yeah, yeah, I have.
If you think that information would be helpful, we would be happy to provide it. I don't, you know.
Well, I have to agree with Gary.
Merry Christmas is aside, if it's not gonna be useful information, we don't need to do it.
Well, if this 83 property is the piece of property that they're presenting to us, there is not,
Which reminds me, we need to eat this.
Why me?
Well, I put it in the middle of the
It's
table.
skinniest one.
I want to watch it
There you go, Merry Christmas.
Didn't want to offend anybody else.
Just me.
Put that for me.
So ranch something, so maybe that's ranch
Oh, it's
drive.
So not that should be influence your decisions as to whether or not you want me to review that stuff.
Thanks, Brian.
No pressure.
There ain't no pressure. Let's
Yeah.
rip into it.
Yeah, so even with the letters in the back, I mean, all that does really, for me, is really cuts Travis's credibility with that letter in the back. I mean, I don't even know why he put that together, so
Yeah.
that'll probably be a discussion down the road.
Travis.
Oh, he's the
Wasatch County planner that.
one of the,
Look at
The
a lot
one they
and
were
tell whether
talking
it's
about.
okay or
That
not.
told them all
Okay,
they
that
have to do is
stamps
look at
the thing, okay.
The one that needs to attend some training.
Uh-huh.
Which scares me, because if he's doing that in the county,
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a few planners that have done that.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we have.
Worries me a little. It concerns
Johnny
me.
Carson, I
Concerns
think I read.
Yeah, concerns me. So it's up to you as a planning commission, if you want those guys to look at it. I really can't make a lot of sense out of those.
It
And I
probably
think
is.
that, I can't see where the 33 foot ever became into play. So Gary, you thought you saw where that came into play, the 30? I mean, they're saying 31 feet.
30.
Like I said,
Oh,
my
it is?
drawing's within 100 feet. I can't tell you that that's what's actually there. I did see some descriptions that say that.
I wrote down 32, but, you know.
That's,
But-
they're coming up with that 30 measurement
It's
off of the.
32, what they said last meeting.
Yeah,
Okay, that's where they came.
And then tonight, we heard that there's a lot line adjustment on the western fence.
Western fence.
yeah, there is, and it's in there.
It's not in this packet. They said it's not in this packet.
The packet
Oh.
Is that
that
what she's
they
handing
gave
out
us.
to people?
I saw it somewhere signed with Val Ellis. Maybe I found it on the county website.
Well, unless it's 50 feet.
No, on the other end.
It's all academic.
The western end.
They
Has to be
just-
the
they
south
just
end.
talked
Is it on
about,
the east end?
no, on the west side. And so if you're looking
Yeah.
So
south,
this side,
the west side where the new house is being built, Brown, not Brown.
here.
Who is it?
They have their own
McCombs?
little private
Yeah.
driveway.
They signed a lot line agreement.
Right, but that belonged to Val Ellis, and I think I saw a lot line agreement between Webb's and Val Ellis
Oh my
to
God.
basically say it's the fence line.
Well, they had, what's the other engineering company over there, Ryan?
So
Summit do one,
I think they're talking about this right here.
is what they indicated tonight.
Well, they could have done.
So does
Which
that
means
mean
being
enough
dead,
room?
isn't it?
I know.
I don't know what they did. It won't give them 50 feet, there's no way it's gonna be 50 feet.
No.
And I have talked to a couple of people that said they used to not access that field through there, they used to come over behind Thacker's. Was the access to that field.
Who's where the Thackers are?
Over here, ones are Thackers.
Yeah, that was,
This road?
no, there's Raymond's,
I
it's
think we
this
should have
house
to
right
put
here.
people's names on
That
that
one.
one.
Yeah.
So when you Google Earth, you're like, oh yeah.
We have a code against that. But yeah, so whatever you guys want to do, it's up to you. They'll be coming back in January to our meeting to discuss whatever they have. I think we brought up some issues tonight that they're gonna look into.
Well, just let them come back and give us what they got and then make a recommendation.
I move we continue this to the January meeting.
Okay, have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second, any discussion? Seeing none, call for the vote, all in favor? It's unanimous.
At least we can agree on something.
Yes, good job.
Could I take a minute and ask, some, I don't know if they're, what kind of questions they are?
What's in that basket?
Open.
Jeez, huh?
Jeez.
Crap.
Go ahead and ask them, I'm passing out this report.
Would it be beneficial for us as a planning commission to look into rewriting some code to help make pieces of property like this buildable? And not have to go through this every time a lot, somebody wants to sell a piece of property or develop a big parcel privately without opening ourselves up to developing this into a huge development of subdivision. Does that interest anybody on the planning commission to try and help property owners that way?
Well, and that's why we put in that, change that road, the code for the road, so that people could access that property and be able to get back to a 15-acre
So-
piece, be able to build a road instead of, you know, because they could go out there and divide that into three, you know, they could have 3 homes on one road, but you still have to have 50 feet. We can't have people like, you know, we're just gonna jump over your house and put 3 houses behind you. I mean, they have to have access, easement.
That's not quite the way I was trying to word that, I guess.
No, but that's what because I was thinking the same thing, can we change code to make this, you know, but they still have to have access. If you've got a landlocked piece, that's what you have.
Well, like these subdivision codes, state law, there's nothing we can change.
Yeah,
And so it lists off the signatures that you have to create a subdivision. And so it doesn't matter if, even if we said, yeah, you can build this, we're breaking the law. Even if we said it's okay, changed our code so you could have a 12-foot wide driveway and no frontage, they still have to subdivide it correctly and, you know, get fire to sign and the city
yeah,
to
fire will
sign.
sign off on a 12-footer.
And so I don't know that that's going to help. And, I mean, I think, same thing, go out to the property ombudsman's site and read those. Actually, my daughter was working for them and wrote one of those, and I helped proofread it a few times, so kind of familiar with them, but, you know, and then they, of course, the attorneys there took them and did what they have to do. with
Changed
them.
everything.
Yeah, but anyway, it's an interesting journey into the Utah code on that and some of the things that have happened and the hardships it causes and the remedy that they suggest is if there's any way to put the property back together and subdivide it correctly, that's the best way to do it. Otherwise, you may end up with a piece that can never be built on, which is not good for the town or for the property owner, but people did it to try and make more money. You know, the county won't let me subdivide it, but I'm gonna subdivide it anyway so that hopefully they'll forget sometime in the future and I won't have to meet subdivision requirements.
Yeah, suddenly 1983 wasn't that long ago.
No, it really wasn't.
Then all of a sudden, we are in 2018, oh, look. Oh, wow.
So if I wanted to subdivide today, I'd have to give road right of way to the town, the utility easements, make the frontage requirements, all of those things. And would it be a lot easier for me to just quit claim a section of it to myself? Sure would,
Or to your kid.
yeah, but then why have any zoning codes?
Well, wait a minute, to Brent's point, I think there's quite a bit that we could do to clarify some of this, whatever is written into state code or the subdivision codes. I don't think we could attempt to change that, but I think, you know, what we do have locally, should we look at it again? I think that's an excellent suggestion, Brent.
I think you
Mark,
definitely
how are you
should
gonna,
Sorry.
look it up.
talk to people about this? I mean, they have 32 feet.
Okay,
But they also had another 200 feet that they decided to sell the house separately.
Yeah.
I
So they
mean,
shot themselves in the foot.
no, I think they did it so that we'd feel the pinch and approve the other one, because we probably wouldn't have approved it if we knew they had the other option. I don't know, I can't say what happened. but-
do the subdivision regulations require that you have so much frontage? Or is that a Danieltown?
No, that's the Danieltown code.
Okay, so that's one that we could adjust.
Right, but they'd
I
have to
wouldn't
come
know.
back and, yeah,
Not, you know, you can't.
I'm not saying whether it's good or bad, Jay, I'm just saying there are things that we can do and things that we can't. And
And I think we have, we've got it 100 foot down.
well, when you come down to it,
Yeah.
it also says you have to have 5 acres for septic tank, so we're gonna stick to that, to what's in the code. We can't, even if it's a lot of record, if it's less than 5 acres, we can't approve the building,
Or having it,
or that's gotta change.
Well, until the health department signs off on it.
No, code doesn't say the health department has anything to do with it. It says you gotta have 5 acres to have a septic tank.
think is approved.
So what kind of things would you think that we could streamline? What was in your mind when you made that suggestion?
Me?
Yes,
I'm just, my thoughts behind this, it seems like a lot of the townspeople, council members, planning members, look for a way to, I don't know if they look for a way, that's probably not the right word to say. We could help slow the growth in Daniels by allowing some big pieces of property like this that somebody wants to put a single home dwelling on that are a little bit hard to meet codes, like this 100-foot easement or 100-foot frontage. We could allow this, and that would kind of make fewer residents in the area, fewer available building lots, might landlock some other pieces of property in ways. But what my point is that I can see that we have problems with these codes, but if we force the Webbs into buying extra frontage to make their road wide enough, the property owner that buys this is probably gonna say, maybe this isn't worth it. Maybe I should just go ahead and make 3 5-acre lots back here, and there we've gone from 1 home to 2 homes in other people's backyards again. That's some things we try to keep from happening. If a person had this 15 acres to build wherever they wanted on, they probably wouldn't build it in somebody's backyard or back window. They would probably build it as far away from everything, all their neighbors as they could, and they would try to, I'm just assuming, try to maintain the rural atmosphere that a lot of us are looking for here. And that's why I'm saying, is there a way we could help rewrite some of our codes to allow a private driveway off of the main thoroughfare through town to a large piece of property? A driveway that's 20 feet wide that beats fire code. I mean, it's just what I'm throwing out here is some food for thought for a lot of the council members and planning members
It's
to
good
think
food for
about.
thought, because we've had 2 citizens, or the Webbs and, what were those folks'
I
names?
can't say their names.
Tertiary.
They came to us with legitimate wanting to build homes in our town and be part of our town, and it's very difficult for them to figure out how to go about it. It's very convoluted. But then we have the large commercial building come in, and it's gonna bring 500 people in, and that was pretty easy, because we've laid our code out that it was approved, because we've done our job. But these other people haven't done their job, just due to historical. So is there a way we can make it easier for our normal citizens come and live here, like we all want to live rurally, versus what was easy to approve? Because they just walk, basically, they're gonna add a lot of
Well, the
people.
thing I see, I mean, that's nice, and that's what we've been told, and that's the line we were fed. But what I see is the Webbs very carefully sold off that front piece of property, and if they had looked at it and realized that this back piece was now going to be a problem for them to sell, they could have rearranged their property so that there was adequate access. So they could have put in there this specific, I'm not talking generals, I'm talking about this piece of property. They could have set that up so that that back property was absolutely accessible. And they chose not to,
I didn't think ahead enough.
which, there again,
Same
their
thing.
due diligence does not become my problem.
The thing we have to remember is, if we be careful opening things up, that we don't create things that we don't want.
Right.
Because most of the county zoning laws, which we adopted, were put there to stop somebody from doing something again, like they've done.
As every rule is,
Yep.
somebody has done
Means
something,
that
they
happened.
thought somebody to create a rule.
That happened.
And
Well,
so,
it's time tested.
yes, it is.
But, I mean,
So,
But they still have the option, can't they go to the Board of Appeals and ask for, well, council and ask for a variance?
Yeah.
Conditional use.
well, and that's another thing, if you, and that's another fear, I think, that we didn't look at was, well, if you approve that for a building law, the guy shows up with his lawyer, if it's good for one, it's good for three.
that's
You have-
right,
You have RA5, there's 15 acres. in
that's
it.
right. And
If
just
that
because
driveway
they
was
say,
good
I
for
just
one,
wanna,
that's,
yeah,
And
I just
anybody
wanna
that
build
builds their
my
house,
home there.
they're gonna farm it, they're gonna put it on one corner.
Yep,
If they think ahead, they're gonna put it where they can still divide it into 3 5-acre pieces.
exactly.
So I'm not sure how much we protected it by breaking rules to let them put it in.
and that's the same thing with this other one that we had tonight. They could sell that front house off, if you approve that, you could sell that house off, we're building in the back on our 8-acre piece.
I agree with all that too.
I mean, it's, so there's two sides to everything, and
So
that's,
it turns into
So where
that,
I'd love to see one house there, if you put 3 on a 5-acre lot, the chances are a lot slimmer that you're gonna have a request to come in for acre lots or half-acre lots.
if you put in 5 acres.
Because it's not, you know, if I have this house and it's on 1 acre and I have 14 more acres, it may be worth my time and money to go get 14 lots. If I have 5 acres, it's probably not worth my time and money to try and subdivide again.
yeah.
It's happening over in the county now, a bunch of those 10-acre lots, we're turning into 1-acre lots.
And the P160 lots are turning into 20-acre lots.
Yeah, and that's not to say a 5-acre lot couldn't turn into a 1-acre lot either, it's just a lot harder,
Yeah, the money's not there.
yeah.
Well,
You have more people to cooperate.
I for one feel like I totally agree with you, Mark. I think that we need to do things to make legitimate development possible. And I think that on the planning commission, that it's really, really, really likely to happen, not just possible, but likely to happen. That in attempting to do what we've attempted to do for Daniel, that we may not be seeing the forest for the trees. And I think that in the process of all that we're trying to do, we may be setting up something for somebody to come in and completely pin our ears back. And if it gets too hard and there's too many people that feel like that they cannot do anything out here, those are the times when it's ripe for somebody to come in and show Daniel what's gonna happen, and we won't be able to say anything about it because it goes through the courts and lawyers and so forth. I do agree with you. I think we need to make it easier for people to legitimately do some of these things.
I don't disagree with Mark that we should be constantly looking for ways to improve what we're doing and what the code is. But I think what we're hearing here is very few of the town's residents, and if we were to get all the rest of the town together and listen to them, I think, at least I hope they back us up with what we tried to do so far. I mean, that's what I'm hearing from, you know, everybody that I've talked to around town. They're,
Yeah.
Well,
It's
and
in and
I-
out of town.
In this particular instance where there is 32 feet, okay, technically 32 feet does not meet the 50-foot requirement. But is it possible to put one house back there and use 32 feet for a driveway? The answer is yes, but technically the law won't allow it. And I think that's a real shame. I think that 15 acres to keep in one parcel or to allow this to take place.
But it's like Gary said, there is no guarantee that will stay in one parcel.
Why can't we make them sign an
We
agreement?
can't, that's not the law. We can't make these arbitrary, single use, you sign this and we'll be nice and you can do that. Then we all die and go
We
away.
could sign a
and they-
deed restrictive. We
but
could.
then
If
give
they
it
ask
to
for a
the
They
kids.
go right back to the
That's right.
next council and they take it off.
That's right. You know, well, my kids want to live in Daniel, and so I'm going to give these pieces to my kids. Well, their mom dies, the kids sell them to whoever.
That's
Well,
what
you know,
When they go to build a home on 15 acres, they provide a site plan, and then you approve it, and then it goes through the same motions as it does to get a building permit.
If they're buying,
So if they commit to one lot in 15 acres, and they've got their house sitting in it, I mean, that pretty well ties them down.
doesn't.
no,
I
I
could-
agree there, the best you could do is a deed restriction, but you're right, the count,
Like, I've got
this
a house,
council,
I
a lot
had a
of future
site
councils are gonna
plan,
do it.
I've
Yeah.
got 16 3/4 acres, I could subdivide into 3 5-acre lots. Or 5,
absolutely.
no, or 1.6 and 2.5, so I can still be on Greenbelt. I'm not going to do it, but there's nothing to stop me.
Well, when we approved it, or made a recommendation to approve that application and sent it back to the town council, did we have in there that we needed the 3 lots combined and a deed description?
No, we had, our
Right.
items were, the 3 would be connected into one, but we didn't have deed restriction on there, did we?
It wasn't
We
us any
never
good
talked
anyway.
about that.
Yeah, and then
But we did
there was
that,
like 3 items that we had on that list.
we did that based that lot was created before zoning was
Yes.
required. And then that totally
And it was not.
justifies it and it makes sense, but that was,
So there we are
Wrong.
trying to make it happen just like you want us to do.
yeah.
And
we
you
screwed
We
up.
try
And you
every
got
time on
burned.
each situation, and our job is to try and accommodate the citizen, the applicant, and do it
But
within
not
the
just
code.
the code is there to protect the rest of the residents.
Yeah, we're-
So that we don't have one wealthy person waltz in here, I have enough money to buy these 15 acres and it's costing me $800,000 and I want to live in your town and I want you to give me what I want.
I don't see the problem with the codes.
The
And I
code
think that
says
we go
there's
through and
not
try to
enough
accommodate,
access.
we go through and try to accommodate every applicant.
But
And we've got a
within
set
the
of
code.
codes that I think are pretty good codes
Yeah.
to follow.
But these people do not meet code.
But, yeah,
And so far, we've done a wonderful job on that. But we did send one through that said you can build one house on 15 acres and you've got a 32-foot right-of-way. And
yeah.
we did,
shouldn't have.
we did that. And so when I hear people say, well, we don't try to accommodate people, that's BS. We try to do that. We sent it to the town council and guess what? They said no. Why? Because all these deeds were coming up and nobody could make any sense out of any of them. And so we need to clarify it a little better. Good for the town council. Way to go, guys, gals.
I also felt like at that meeting that there was so
That's not
much
how I
information that we didn't have,
Yeah, we should have continued
we
it
should
to the
have
next meeting
continued
so we had
that
time to
before we
research
send
it.
it.
And that's the big thing, we really do need to take our time, we shouldn't be in a hurry for any application.
No.
If there's any question at all, we should continue that. So on the, I have my list that I drew up for the county, for the town
So what-
council.
I want to hear about the smoke complaint regarding smelling and dirty the windows that were just washed. What kind of smoke are we talking?
Agricultural burn, they were burning some leaves. And she had just had her windows washed and it was sticking to them and smoking up her house.
Wasn't that
Because-
on last month's too?
Yeah, it's all the same.
Is this in Daniel or in?
Yep,
One of those rich ones.
so I guess I'll get used to the agricultural burns eventually.
Okay.
So these are the 5 items I had on the web one, should the council grant the application. We needed a public utility easement. All lot lines should be required to be merged in one parcel. All water requirements should be met prior to the law application approval. A 50-foot public right-of-way should be granted across the entire west boundary. And all applicable items should be deed restriction applied and recorded on the plat at the county prior to approval. So those are the 5 after I talked to Ryan, and that's what we kind of, we didn't have all those in our meeting,
I was
but
gonna say, I don't remember all those, but they were very good.
I don't know that we can record it prior to approval, I think we have to sign it and then record it, the details.
no building permit till it is.
Well, yeah, it has to be approved and recorded, the plat has to be approved and recorded before we issue the building permit. I think that's what that said, yeah. Well, but we can't approve, anyway, we have to
Yeah.
sign it before it's, chicken and the egg.
So as we get some of these folks moving in, Jay, we get a few of those complaints coming in that are, people aren't used to what goes on.
Subdivision complaints.
Yeah, I like your other one about the floodplain.
The floodplain.
I get a couple of those a year.
Why did the town put this in the floodplain?
I get a lot of those now for the county.
Yeah. I just,
The FEMA do that?
And I don't know how many times, I mean, this is my email stack to them. How many times I went over that.
Is that-
So you're saying I can build in the floodplain? You may not. Big bold, build it.
So you're saying that I can,
But I think Cherchenko's, the floodplain goes into Ashby's, so it goes clear across.
It does,
the whole
there's
farm.
just a little piece down there, when I looked at that parcel, they didn't provide us with a map, but I looked at that, and there's only right down in the center is the only place where there's not in the floodplain. So,
so they're buying a piece of property that's in the
yes. And that's why, did you check the floodplain? I tried to.
You said it a couple times.
Yeah, and it's in the emails and sometimes, you never told me that.
My wife even pointed that out. I think that's in the floodplain.
Okay.
If you build next to a creek, there's probably floodplain somewhere around there.
She apparently looked at the map a lot closer than I have for our property to see
they
where it was.
can. They
Just to
can
clarify,
build
we
in
all live in a
floodplain.
floodplain. The
Take it
question
off.
is, which
Huh?
floodplain?
Our code will not allow us to do that.
Well, Wayne, in Storm Haven, Wayne Mir built a house right along the creek.
But he's out of the floodplain.
You gotta be kidding.
He's clear up on top of that hill. That
Oh,
creek's
no,
way down
the
below.
creek is only 12 feet away from
But
it.
it's clear down below him,
Oh,
It's straight.
10 feet maybe?
the elevation.
He's out of the floodplain?
Yes,
You've got to be kidding.
I'll show you the map.
That's awesome.
And that one could have special approval because it was a pre-approved subdivision too.
Oh, but we'd still make them elevate.
We still would, yeah. Our code just won't allow it. Why would we?
So
You see us
How
on
do
the
you
news
elevate,
being
right?
sued because we let them build.
Bring in fill. So the that lot that we're talking about, 2/3 of it, 3/4 of it's in the floodplain. You have to do a study and determine what the water level is across that field. My guess is it's a foot or two deep at that. So you elevate your house, so your finished floor elevation is 2 feet above whatever we determine the flood to be. The house is no longer in the floodplain. Even though on the map, it's right in the middle of the
So
hashtag.
you-
We gotta
you just-
make sure.
You just bring in fill, is that what you're
Yeah.
So
saying?
you bring in trucks full of dirt until it's no longer in the floodplain.
Okay.
So there's a
People
code we
around
need
the
to
valley are
change
glad
now,
to get rid
Brian.
of that.
35 feet above the natural elevation.
That's funny. I guess that's your meeting up the county where you're trying to determine what is natural. How long does it sit there before it's natural?
That's true.
That's a hard question.
Back in the 30s, they came and graded the fields and leveled it.
That's why there's all the copper rocks on one end and 5 feet of topsoil on the other, right?
Yeah, they sat through that
No, I
very
think a lot of
meeting.
that started that way.
I think that was the glacier.
But I
Yeah,
think
Gary's
the
got
parts
the-
that I have cobble rock on were leveled
Yeah.
off.
Well, I should have never.
They're all
made
close
it.
to your house.
My brother said to me, once, you use a lot of rock in your
They
landscape.
might- The rocks migrated under the fence from Barry.
Yeah, we do, and that's gonna do it.
It's too expensive to haul off.
That's
We
right.
can't do something with
They
it.
won't let you sell
At
them.
least that's what I tell you.
Okay, any other questions on
Swiss
the
days, anything.
planning
Swiss days.
report? Everybody good with it?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Gonna make a fire.
item number 6, minute approval for November 26th. Any corrections or additions? Did you get my email on the
I think so.
spelling? We had two things. There was, the first thing was
The name,
yeah,
oh, the other one,
the other one was the date. You did fix the date.
I did what?
The date that said Monday
Oh,
instead of
I
Wednesday.
fixed the Wednesday.
Right. So, yeah, I knew you got that one. I didn't know if you got the first one.
Yeah.
Well, the minutes should have said Monday, right?
The what?
The minutes should have said Monday for that meeting, right?
No, that was on the agenda. The agenda
Oh, so
said
that was the
Monday.
agenda you were changing.
Yeah, the
okay.
agenda was.
I thought you were saying on the minutes you
No.
wanted, okay.
No, the minutes was just,
So we're approving the agenda?
we're approving the minutes. Yeah, we're gonna approve the agenda on the next item.
See,
Yeah,
the minutes are up here if you want to read them.
I move that we approve the minutes for the November meeting.
Okay, have a motion? Is there a second?
I'll second it.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 4 counts. You're abstaining?
I wasn't there.
We got into that discussion last time.
Fine.
Fine.
Okay, item number 7, motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Awesome, is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nobody abstained from that one.